Hey gang, it's Harold of Harold on Games podcast. I'm here with Mark Herman at Brookhurst Hobbies, and it's time for No Enemies Here War Game News.
See you, Danny. There you go.
DVG and Castle Itter, the strangest battle of World War II. This is a game designed by David Thompson. The artists are David Thompson and Matt W. White. Published by Dan Verson Games. And what you get with this game? Well, because it's a Kickstarter, things are added from minute to minute. And knowing Dan Verson of DVG Games, all I can say is, what you get with this game? Lots! And a box and a lid for sure. Mo of Mo's Game Table, and wishing Mo all the best on his recovery, is doing an unbagging of Across the Narva from Revolution Games. Across the Narva is designed by Stefan Ekstrom. The artist is Joe Yost. Published by Revolution Games. Mo's also doing an unboxing of Gorbachev, The Fall of Communism. This is a solitaire war game designed by Ben Madsen. The artist is Ben Madsen. Published by White Dog Games. Mo is also unboxing The White Tribe, Rhodesia's War 1966 to 1980 from White Dog Games. This is an unboxing. You know, I want to like Mo. The guy just had an operation and he's resting in bed, but videos still keep pumping out. You know, I mean, rest, buddy, so I can rest. I think he's doing it in spite. AJ Toynbee of Hexes and Soldiers has a video out on his new dice tray. You know, the war game community, we're funny. Jeff McAleer is taking a look on his first look segment of The Gaming Gang, Nemo's War, 2nd edition. A game designed by Chris Taylor. The artist is Ian O'Toole. Published by Victory Point Games. Also, Jeff takes a look at Australia. A game designed by Martin Wallace. The artist is James Colmer. Published by Shield Mill Games and Stronghold Games. Jacine of Chits and Cats has a couple of videos out on DVG's Warfighter. She's doing prep and going through a campaign with game number 1, part 1, and game number 1, part 2. Soundboard is doing a playthrough of Night Fighter Ace, Air Defense over Germany, 1943 to 1944, a game designed by Gregory M. Smith of The Hunter fame. The artist is Nuke Grunitz, Terry Leeds, published by Compass Games. Soundboard is also unboxing Atlanta Is Ours. This is a 1 to 2 player game designed by Ed Beach, Mike Bellis, and Chris Withers. The artists are Nicholas Escaby and Charles Keebler, published by Multi-Man Publishing. Alexander and Grant of The Player's Aid. Sit down, talk about 2018 retrospective. The Player's Aid are also unboxing Dunkirk, France 1940. This is a 2 to 6 player game designed by Doug Bryant. The artist is Sean Cook, published by Worthington Publishing. You know, this is my TV. This is what I watch. I watch the players. I talk about what they think about 2018 in terms of their gameplay. It's interesting for me. That's what I like. Riccardo the Professor Masini, on his Warlog 22, discusses counter clippers. What's good? What's out there? What's for you? USA Patriot 4163 is doing an example of play of 6th Fleet, a game designed by Jim Dunnigan and David C. Isby, published by SPI. The Wargamer has a few videos out on Hurtgen, Hell's Forest, from Decision Games, Scenario 1, the intro, and Scenario 1, the German and American deployment. A game designed by Joe Yost, the artist is Joe Yost, published by Decision Games. MAURO FAINA has 3 minutes with The Dark Sands, a game designed by Ted Rasier, published by GMT. MAURO also does a review and an analysis in Italian and in English of the magazine Modern War number 38, Soyuz 81. The Gimpy Gamer has Thunder in the East, an overview and setup. This is a game designed by Frank Chadwick, published by Victory Point Games. MARCOWARGAMER takes a look at The Dark Sands, a game designed by Ted Rasier, published by GMT. Counterattack in this playthrough series is doing Operation Dauntless, Nightmarish Crossroads, a game designed by Mark Makzicki, the artists are Charles Keebler, Roger B. McGowan, and Mark Mahaffey, published by GMT. The Wargame Reviewer is giving us in Spanish a component look at Rise of Totalitarianism, a game designed by Luca Camisa, the artist is Luca Camisa, published by Cuatro Dados. STUKAJOE is back, but this time with a very special top 10 video. Rob Oren of Rob's Tabletop World has a video out on Rob's top 9 anticipated games of 2019. That's right, top 9. And if you're into mini games and meta games, Dave of the Centurions Review has got something for you. He's got a video out on the top 10 games played most in 2018. That is his top 10. Airbones Wargaming Tim Korchnoi unboxes Thunder in the East, a game designed by Frank Chadwick, published by Victory Point Games, and you can peruse his East Front library.
Pan Calding, I'm a police sergeant. That is what I do for a living. Ever since I was about 5. I don't know why I'm doing this, because even when I was 5, I was like super tall. But ever since I was around 5, I wanted to be a police officer, policeman. So all I had to do, literally, was wait to grow up. I almost went to Alaska when I was 18 because that was the only state currently, at least the only state I knew of, where you could get your police certification at the age of 18. I did not move to Alaska. I had to wait until I was 21. I was undercover for about a year, and I looked more like Serpico when I was undercover. I had a big beard for a while, and then a little like a goatee hanging down. And No Training Day. Ugh, that is hard to watch, actually. I mean, it's a great show, and I love Denzel. But Training Day's hard to watch. Again, good show. I've never seen that level of corruption. If I had to, and I haven't seen it in a long time, Fort Apache, the Bronx, Paul Newman's character, and the scene in particular, and this is what I remember most, is when they have a crazy guy in the street, might even be like a Puerto Rican guy, I don't know, and he has a knife. And Paul Newman's character, I can't remember the name, is training a younger guy, but he flips his like patrol cap around and starts making bird noises and everything and gets the guy to put the knife down without any kind of actual conflict. I don't remember much else from the movie. That, sir. I'm that guy. Long answer. Is the Grognard dead? I'm not sure what that means, Dan. I was never really a Grognard, so if you're referencing me, there was never a birth. The only Grognard I would say I really hang around with would be Greg Schmickens from Ham Tag. So if we're talking like existentially, Grognards, are they dead? Definitely not. If we're talking specifically Greg Schmickens, no, very much alive. He is retired, but very much alive. Interesting thing. So I always thought I was about like 90% Germanic. Great-grandfather was 12. The story is he did not want to fight for the Kaiser. So he jumped on a ship. Some say he stowed away. Some say he purchased passage. Landed in Ellis Island. Was there for some time until he got medically cleared. And at the time, in order to come into the States, we're talking like 1912 or something, he also had to have a job showing he was employed and would not be awarded the state. And there was a German citizen that lived in Iowa, and he basically had to go work for him for room and board for 3 years, and then that guy helped set him up with a farm. So I thought I was 90% German. Did the 23andMe, and it showed I'm like 38% Scotch, Irish, British, UK, and then like 22% German. So there you go. So if Uwe and I met up, nobody needs to be worried unless they're afraid of enjoying good whiskey, because Uwe enjoys it as well, and board games. If you like those two things, you need to hang out with us. And we both believe in having a very good time. We're fun, friendly folk. Although he plays a violin and he hunts and he dresses deer that are hit by cars on the side of the road, he's like a man's man. Uwe, man's man. The undertaking of designing ambush missions, it was fun because I have a creative mind, but it was difficult. It took about a month, maybe a month and a half per mission. I have 3 fully developed missions, and a 4th one was almost done, and my son was born. Turned out my free time went away quickly, and I haven't been back to it in like 8 years, maybe more. So they took some time, but what I really enjoyed is I could take my imagination and then have almost like a plot for a mission in mind, and randomness that would still move a player through a plot. Follow me were the missions I made. I will tell you, I like to outline things, so I outlined a 4-mission series called Bushwhacked, which, as you might guess, would be Ambush in the Wild West. Hello. I had from a German perspective, oh my goodness, how am I forgetting the Special Forces name? Not the SS, it's the one from the Navy's version. But they did missions in Poland, Not getting into the politics of Germany invading Poland, bad, but it would have been from their perspective. And then, and this is crazy because this has been in my mind lately, I would love to do a post-apocalyptic version of Ambush. What? I've got to get some of my day job and whiskey YouTube job and all that kind of settled, but I could see maybe even in 4 years, be close to retirement, that might be something I would do because I really love making the Ambush missions. Maybe I'll even do my own show on my channel about some of my plans there. Long answers, Dan. Long answers. I will not be collaborating with Academy Games, Uva's company, for Ambush style games. I'm not far enough along. Just having missions isn't enough. It's Avalon Hill was purchased by Wizards of the Coast. They still own all the Ambush stuff. If I ever really got rolling and putting out a bunch of self-published missions and Wild West, apocalyptic, I could maybe see somebody reaching out to me and saying, hey, we want to box these together, but who knows? So no, I will not be collaborating with Uva on that. Once again, just whiskey and fun. STUKAJOE's phenomenal. I will tell you, I watched it. It again brought B-17 Queen of the Skies to life. What his show captured was that 100% buy-in to the men on the plane and what happens to them, the story that unfolds. The B-17 is just looking up charts and rolling dice and seeing what happens, but man, do you get tied into the different folks in the plane and the plane itself. So if when I get to Puerto Rico again, I've been there several times, I got to hang out with Jose. I'll buy him a drink for bringing that feeling of B-17 back via his awesome videos. Oh, whiskey and board gaming go together great. Now, I will tell you, first of all, when people think of board games, and they all say Monopoly, maybe Risk if they're really further down, or Stratego, especially when they know I like war games, the same thing happens with whiskey. So people find out I'm a board game aficionado and they say Monopoly, Risk. They find out I'm a whiskey aficionado unless they're in either hobby and they say stuff like, oh, you get drunk a lot, or ooh, I just drink beer, or Jack and Coke, fine. But an aficionado of board games is as deep and unique with layers upon layers as whiskey aficionados are, and they're so close. I've been to whiskey, almost like whiskey conventions, and there's a couple times I'll sit there and I'll be like, am I at a board game convention? It'll feel like that. I'm telling you. There's a lot of overlap. I've been at whiskey events and had people yell out, Chief! And come up and start. I know nobody in the whiskey world knows me as Chief. And they'll come up and want to talk games. And my co-host on the whiskey side's always like, man, that's so weird. And I'm like, yeah. board gamers are cool. And they like whiskey. It's a luxury hobby. Board gaming is a luxury hobby as well. I sip whiskey, I don't guzzle it. I have some cop buddies that will put down beer like nobody's business and they can't understand how I drink whiskey. I may spend an hour with an ounce, nosing it, sipping it, making notes about it. There's little journals, just like guys track their games, there's little journals, and whiskey folks will track their whiskeys. It's almost, the hobbies are so close, it's crazy. I live in Wichita, Kansas. For some of you that know, Wyatt Earp was a cop here way back when. So that's where I live and do my job. Well, I've met a Dorothy, but I don't think the Dorothy you're thinking of. I do not think war games, I had to make sure it was war games and not war games, have reached a plateau. Not even close. I will tell you, just looking now, look at what GMT's doing. Well, I could name off Academy Games and Compass Box and Phalanx, and I mean, I could go on and on. We are in this wonderful age, and there's more crossovers with I mean, look what Mark Herman's doing. The war games, and I mean, or take a look at Twilight Struggle. So we're in this wonderful, that'll start a debate with war gamers, is that a war game or not? We're in this wonderful era, not plateaued at all. I do think that a lot of war games are extremely complex. And then that war theme turns some people off as well. But no, has not plateaued. Look how long it's been around. I think the only thing that's happened is when I was a kid, the complex strategy games were wrapped mostly around wargaming. You had, you know, Civilization and some stuff that was coming in, but that's where you kind of gravitated to. And now there's such a more vast, all the story-based games. I got Gloomhaven on the table over there. It's sucking up my time. I love all games, so we have not plateaued. There's many, many cool things still to come. You're 5'4", Danny boy? I'm 6'6", like foot plus taller than you. If you take me low, sweep the leg, you got a shot. But I fight dirty. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Can't pull your hair though. That's an advantage you got. I was in the Army, but I was not a cop in the Army. I was a combat medic. I was in a reserve Army unit that was light infantry. So we never went to war. I never saw combat. But I did do basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, and my medic training was down at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. Awesome experience. I really loved my time in the Army. Ambush or B-17, this is tough. The first game I ever bought, the second game I ever bought, I will tell you, I probably, oh boy, I created a whole squadron of like 120 planes. I had notebooks with replacement troops or airmen that would go into the planes. I literally would go through phone books and write down names and space them out, and that would be my replacement list. I would probably say ambush. I lean a little bit more toward that tactical squad level combat even today. I'm such a fan of the B-17 bomber, and I'm so glad this is my first game. But I've gone back and played both of them as an adult, and I still lean toward ambush. There's more decision making going on. I love the stories that happen with B-17, but they happen in ambush as well. So I'm going to go ambush, but that's tough. Harley Davidson all the way. Easy. Bluegrass, but I love modern folk music, so probably lean more modern folk, but bluegrass is definitely a kissing cousin. Hello, I can say that. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Love Grant. I've got a biography that I bought that I'm waiting to read. The fact that he knew what needed to be done as a general in the Civil War and his maneuvering. But out of that war, I actually gravitate more towards Sherman, and I love the way that he stepped away from politics. I'm not a politics kind of person, and I couldn't survive in that realm. I have more of a kindred spirit to Sherman on that. So I'm going to say Eisenhower, heck of a planner. Yeah, the way he had to manage the personalities of World War II. You know, Stalin and Churchill and the generals on well, Montgomery, but the planning and how he handled everything. D-Day invasion. Enough said. Combat Commander. Colt. I believe Colt puts out the, I always call it the Commander series. So the Desert Eagles, just nobody needs a big 357, 44 mag, 50 cal, barely effective, blah. Give me a little Colt 1911 frame on a little Commander issue, great for concealment. Well, triple's mostly Irish whiskey, not exclusively, but mostly. I will just tell you, neither give me cask strength, baby. Cask strength. That means it's not cut with water. I'll dilute it myself, or sometimes it's perfect and I'll drink it neat. The other rule with whiskey is drink it whatever way you want. You bought it, drink it with ice. There's several things I'll let you try. Please don't put Coke in them if they're mine, but if you bought it, you can put Dr. Pepper in it. I don't care. So drink your whiskey your way. I'm going to say neither again. Stalingrad. Enough said. BF 109. Love the Messerschmitt. Yeah, love the Messerschmitt. Vader all the way. Walter White's, I love the show, but Vader got me when I was 7. He was so evil when he lifted the guy up and just crushed him. And I remember I was 7 in the theater, and Star Wars was the first movie it got inside me. And when Vader did that, I was like, this guy is evil. He is so bad. So Vader. There could be more ham tag. I've got a ham tag episode partially edited right now. I have to finish it. We have not filmed anymore. I've gotten so busy with job, family, and the whiskey show, Scotch Test Dummies, just taken off, that I literally just, the board gaming stuff is taking a back seat to the whiskey show, and that's where a lot of my free time has gone to. So, but never say never. I don't see it in the near future, but I thought it was a wonderful segment.
Harold Buchanan of Harold on Games has a new podcast entitled Special Announcement. Hexes and Soldiers, issue number 1. Conflict simulation news, views, and reviews. There are articles in Hexes and Soldiers which feature Shane Logan, Down and Dirty, Why I Love Tactical Gaming, Adam Starkweather, The Graying of the Hobby, and STUKAJOE, his early experiences with wargaming videos. Hexes and Soldiers, Conflict Simulation News, Views, and Reviews, Issue number 1. The Congress of Gamers, the Declaration and Resolve of the 16th Congress of Gamers, is happening January 12th and 13th, 2019, Saturday from 9 a.m. to midnight and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. in Rockville, Maryland. It's happening at 1150 Carnation Drive. Multi-Man Publishing's Winter Offensive, where? At the Comfort Inn and Convention Center in Bowie, Maryland. When? January 17th, 2019 to January 20th, 2019. Doors open at 5, Thursday, January 17th. Niagara Board Gaming Weekend, January 24th to the 27th, 2019 at the Ramada Plaza in Niagara Falls, Ontario. People dress warm or you'll freeze your chits off. Guys, thanks for watching. I know Bart, he likes to talk, but hey, I'll see you next week. The Gimpy Gamer has Thunder in the East, an overview and setup. This is a game designed by Frank Chadwick, published by Victory Point Games.